Good afternoon, ladies and gents. Welcome to another video brought to you by Total Control Traders. Hope you guys are all staying safe out there, getting ready for the opportunity that is coming up. Whether it's end of day today or the beginning of day tomorrow, I'm expecting a huge opportunity to come up. Hey, one thing to quickly mention, 250 subs. Thank you everyone for your support. I will be coming out with a video just more likely over this weekend, just because this week, due to the market, the chat room has been extra busy and keeping me really tied down. So keep an eye out for that video. Just also a quick mention for what the password is going to be. It's going to be YINN MTTR FCell. That's YINN, Matterport, and Fuel Cell. Okay. Make sure to check out our free membership in the description below as well. Okay, so let's get into the market. First one, SPX. Tomorrow should see huge opportunity. So we've talked about this for a long time, okay? We've talked about it ever since the 9th or the 10th video. One of those two. The market red flag video that we talked about how we're gonna see new highs, the potential of seeing new highs before a daily bear divergence, seeing huge follow through, and that will be the bear play that we're looking for. And this is exactly what happened, bear divergence on this daily. Now there is also a weekly bear divergence discussed in those videos as well. There is a slight weekly bear divergence, so we are seeing that playing out, and I'm expecting that the low is gonna be in relatively soon. We did backtest that previous all-time high today, but we did lose it as well. So that brings me to think that we could be looking down at the GP. So what we were seeing before, let's just discuss what exactly happened here. There was a huge drop into that 0.382, and we saw a bounce, immediate drop again, and then today we saw that follow through into previous all-time high and more. Okay, so if we were to look at this, with the three levels we were talking about, the 0.382 must hold. If that is lost, then we will for sure be testing that previous all-time high, lining up with the 0.5. And then if that is lost, we could be looking down at the GP, which I do expect this to be holding. So with the 0.5 as well as the previous all-time high lost, tomorrow, if we were to see a gap down into that GP lining up with this key zone, we'll be looking at few plays here. So there's going to be a huge long list of tickers we're going to be covering, so we're going to be doing going through them relatively quickly. But the two plays that I'm looking at is one, entering the longer plays, as well as looking for oversold bounces for those amazing quick returns. Okay, you know, just like that. Okay, so SPX, you know, we are looking at a little bit extension from that daily 8, and if we were to compare, what does it look like? What can we expect from this bounce? Now let's look at the chart. You know, this bounce, this drop obviously is a lot faster than a lot of the other ones we have seen, because it's over a span of, what is this, 7 trading days, versus, you know, you look back here, the drop is a lot longer. So this is a 5.15% drop so far from that rejection up here. And versus back here, this was a 5.39% over 11 trading sessions, as opposed to this time 7 trading sessions. So I am expecting a glorious bounce. Okay, watch for that bounce tomorrow. Ideally, you know, after hours, they don't want to screw us over. And I am seeing there is a bounce starting in the after hours right now. Hopefully, let's see what happens. You know, hopefully 38. Maybe we see a rejection. Hour 8, maybe we see a rejection. It is decreasing bull volume right now so far in the after hours. But we're gonna have to give it a little bit more time. Maybe we see, you know, back test of this previous all-time high and coming back down to the GP. Doesn't really make sense that we're gonna be bouncing from here, but you never know, right? There is no levels around where we close today. So this could be a temporary bounce before a leg down. That's what we're hoping for tomorrow. Further downside, the further it is, the bigger the bounce is going to be. And I could not emphasize this enough in the trading chat room. Lately I've been sending out extra messages. Hope you guys understand why, and you know, due to the market. Hope you guys finding it helpful. One of the main messages I've sent is make sure that you keep have, if not majority of account in cash positions, get ready for the opportunity that's going to be coming up. Now, what am I talking about for this opportunity? Let's take a look at this fear and greed index. If it decides to load, there we go. So 1 month ago, we were in extreme greed at 77. And 1 month ago, we're looking at all-time high back here. And now, where are we? We are at 22 extreme fear. Remember, smart money buys low, sell high. Everyone knows that. Easier said than done, right? Smart money buys into the fear, sell into the greed. You do not want to be selling into the fear here, unless you're expecting a gap down tomorrow, depending on what your overnight play is, what your game plan is. But overall, the message I want to send out to you guys is be up early. We might do a live tomorrow. Let me know. Let me know down in the comment if you prefer a live tomorrow. This is potentially a huge opportunity coming up. Okay. All right, so that's SPX. We're not going to go into the details of all the indexes. They all look fairly similar, except NAS is still relatively strong, only just breaking down, making new lower low on the daily, and not extended on the daily either. There is decent volume, but NAS is the strongest of the indexes, and then Rus is the weakest of the indexes, and we are seeing a loss, well, depending on how you draw this. So let's see if we can draw this differently. Give me 1 sec, guys. Let's see. Hey, this might be the line instead. This might be the line instead. So you're looking at this, there's a bounce. Nothing in all those zones. A bounce over here. Wow, look how perfectly that works out. Okay, bounce over here. Another 2 bounces over here. Yeah. And almost touch. So this could be the lower trend line instead. We're going to have to keep that on watch. But ultimately, we are extended on the daily. Let's keep this one to be the main trend line going forward. So could be seeing a bounce from here. All right, daily is reaching that oversold territory. Huge opportunity coming up on Rus. That will be my main focus going into the end of the year. Rus, top watch. Right, let's get into the actually, before we do so, let's do a market deep dive just to see whether if we're looking at bounces, get a little bit more certain idea. US a little bit pullback, so that that warrants a little bit of a bounce in the market. US 10 years, slight bounce, nothing too major. We did lose that potential neckline over here, so could see further downside. This is a longer term forecast, so much further ahead leading indicator, so we could be looking at somewhere over here in the market instead. So I can't see this being a bounce. This might be a glorious bounce. Actually, the other thing that I wanted to mention also is on SPX itself. Last time we saw a decent 2 months back-to-back pullback, it was like this, and there were very nice bounces in between. And of course, the pullback is not as big this time, but that can be something we're expecting. VIX, ooh, I did not know VIX made it to 30. Wow, congrats VIX players, VXX players, UVIXC players. What's the other one? I can't remember. But yeah, regardless, congrats VIX players. Hey, we talked about this. We've been talking about this ever since mid-November. All right, very rare opportunity of daily bull divergence on the VIX, and we should see a break of this trend line with follow through, and potentially anticipating a break of this previous high, $28, $29 range. And we are seeing that exact thing happening. Daily 8 is right now the guide. VIX new highs. What is this? 31, let's see, 32. New 6 months high. Or 9 months high. New 9 months high on VIX. So that also confirms that there should be a decent opportunity tomorrow. Gold still holding that line, so it dropped. Warrants market bounce. Bitcoin, ideally, we want to see a little bit more of a bounce to back up the thesis of market bounce coming. But regardless, that's what I'm looking at. Bounce tomorrow. Let's get into the tickers. And then again, do expect a little bit longer of a video today. There's a lot of tickers to cover. There are some tickers I want to go through in depth, and then the potential tickers I'm scouting for oversold bounces tomorrow. All right, first one is Tesla, as always. Do we need to take a look at HIVE? Head and shoulders pattern, neckline being broken, not really. So we don't really need to look at HIVE. There's a potential further downside on HIVE. Right near that key support right now. Support resistance. Let's see if we can find a good area to draw this on. Ideally, I want it over here. So I'm gonna say it's over there. Multiple supports again. Another, not really. Rejection over here, rejection. Slight chopping around. Yeah, we're right on it. Gonna need to hold that. All right, Tesla. Potential wedge still there. There's a, might have to redraw this upper trend line now to something more like this, but I do anticipate that we're gonna need to see a little bit more downside to at least have a clear sense of where that lower trend line is. Now, a lot of people were tracking this lower trend line, but I didn't really think it was gonna be that strong. So today, it is technically a loss of that short-term trend line. But let's see what the price action is gonna look like. I'm still anticipating somewhat of a wedge forming up here. Gonna need a lot more time to tell. As of right now, if you were looking for entry, you could set an alert on the break above 1172.84. Next one is Apple. Ooh, congrats, Apple players. Did not make a video yesterday and made a video this morning, but I don't think we talked about Apple. So congrats, belated congrats on Apple players. Whew, look at this bull volume. Look at this bull price action yesterday. What an amazing move. Today, gap up, straight buying into the earlier in the day when the market started selling off. It showed strength. So let's take a look at shorter time frames. 15 minutes. You see the bull flag confirmation, bull flag, and then try to confirm, but instead it gave a 15-minute bear divergence when the market started really pulling back and this Apple move started getting stuffed. But bear volume, I'm still not too concerned on this. Apple will be looking for higher prices to come on the shorter term, maybe on a middle term. Shorter term, we are a little bit extended on the daily. We are not overbought. There is a slight daily bear divergence, so that is a little bit of a concern. Tomorrow, we're going to need to see follow through. We are trading up in the after hours. Apple is going to be on currently holding long position. Will likely be holding it for quite some time until a huge red flag comes out. Next one is MTTR. What an amazing chart. So we played this, entered this, wow, cannot time this any better, hey? We entered this on, what is that, Friday? Yeah, Friday. Monday, gap up, straight buying. Tuesday, we wanted to see that follow through, at least a little bit of a follow through. We saw the follow through, but then the market sort of decided, you wanted to sell off. It's chopping around, indecision candle. Today, same thing. Today, ultimately, we gapped up again and straight buying into selling off. There's slight potential bearish engulfing on bear volume. So we might see a little bit further downside, but ultimately the chart is still very strong. If you are in the trade, give it 2% from that 88. If you're not in the trade, I would be looking for, actually today's backtest of this previous resistance of 29.90 is $29.90 or $30 is a very good entry. I will be keeping this on top watch on one of the top charts for quite some time. Chart is strong. No reason to sell if you are in the long or common position. Next one is Hood. Why is Hood on here? Oh, Hood is sure unlocking, I believe. So widely anticipated bounce from today, but instead it was a huge sell-off on bear volume. Now this is also gonna be on top watch for tomorrow for bounce play. Look at that weekly chart. We are so extended. Maybe not so extended. We are extended on the weekly chart. There is a possibility of a very nice bounce tomorrow, especially if we were to see a gap down. After hours right now is a little bit up at 1.25%, trading at 24.23. The dailies, not too far extended, but it's going to be on top watch tomorrow. Let's see if it's a delayed reaction on that share unlocking. So that's it for the hottest tickers. Next ones up are the requested tickers. First one is going to be Microsoft. Wow, strong chart. Microsoft did not make new lows yet. I like. Didn't even touch a 0.382. Wow. Big bear volume. Gap up today. Continue selling off, but did not make new lows. So we are trading under the daily 8. There is a slight daily bear divergence. So I'm doing a new way of drawing bear divergence, by the way, guys. I'm using the closing prices. So on this, you know, in between the two candles, the higher close would be over here. And the highest close over here would be that green candle. So the easier way is you can use the line chart instead. And you will see, you see how it goes close to close. So that makes it a little bit easier, just for that little bit more confirmation of actual divergences. Because I used to draw it from wick to wick and been faked out maybe like a couple times, 1 time, 2 times, something like that. But yeah, so let's try this new method, line chart, bear divergence. And let's see if there's going to be follow through. So far, there is very, very lack of follow through. We're going to need to lose this 328.12 before we're looking further down. Even if we're looking at further down, or even if you pull all the way back to this previous high, it's actually a very good area for potential first entry. Previous high, 305.84, 305.32, lining up with a GP between 304.55 and 306.77. That GP is going to be amazing buy if it ever gets there. So this doesn't work. And do a quick fib extension just to see where we rejected from. Okay, so this is the 1-to-1. Would you look at that? Wow. Fib extension from the low to the high to the higher low, the pullback. And it was a 1-to-1 extension target rejection just above it, as we always see. And from here, as mentioned, GP would be a very nice entry. Let's draw that key zone out over here. I would probably actually say over here. Yeah, and then let's see if there's another zone below. It's been a long time since we looked at Microsoft. So there's going to be a lack of charting on this. You can probably draw this one a little bit smaller, but that looks okay. Yeah, so lines up with the GP, you can see multiple rejections here. 1, 2, 3 rejections. And then broke over, immediate back test. Very key area, 305. If it gets there, that will be a very nice entry. I don't know if yeah, you can set an alert just above it. Next one is Costco. Ooh, that projection did not work out. They just straight broke through. Hey, now there is a potential for a breakout fake out. There is no daily bear divergence, however. So on the pullback, I would anticipate a lack of follow through. So this was actually, that anticipation was if it does continue to break down below the daily 8, then this would be the most ideal entry at that time. But we did not break down, nor did we even, no, we didn't even wick under the daily 8. What a strong chart. So let's redraw this. Let's redraw this fib. We are gonna do strong low over there, high over here, and change this one to a 0.382. Somewhat lines up with the previous high. Wow, what a chart. 307. Actually, the percentage move wise since pandemic low is actually not that high. Hey, it's only been 82% over 100. 82% over. What am I thinking here? 8 months? Wait, what? I thought pandemic was before that. Oh, it had a huge drop in 2021 March. I'm so confused right now. I thought it was yeah, this was pandemic low. Huh. Okay. Anyways, so with this, let's see. There's a potential for, as we were talking about it, you know, potential for a breakout, fake out, and overthrow kind of thing. We did see a slight rejection here. Ultimately broke over. Huge bear volume coming up. Earnings coming up. A little bit of a catalyst potential. Again, no bear divergence. So let's see what the reaction is going to be looking like at the 0.382, closing near the low of the day. We'll watch for a reaction at 0.382 first. Next one is Google. Strong daily bear divergence, seeing that follow through now. So this was an overthrow, making new lows before coming back to make new highs and then forming that daily bear divergence. Let's drag this. What did I draw it to? Make sure we draw it to the same spot. Right over here. Roughly about over here. Okay, so overthrow came back down, lower trend line hold, lower trend line hold, daily bear divergence. We are now losing that lower trend line of a long-term channel. Long-term channel, okay? We are losing that lower trend line. Last time we lost it was about 2% below. So I give it maybe 2.5% below. It looks like we might be below that already. So let's take a look here. 1.3, a little bit. So we're gonna have to see whether if the dip gets bought. It is decreasing bear volume, trading under the daily bear divergence is the big concern on Google. Next one is AMD. AMD did finally lose that daily 8. Finally, whew, ever since beginning of October. Now, if that's the case, let's take a look at where the pullback might come in from. And we'll draw from the low of 99.51. That's the overall pullback potential. Let's see if it lines up with anything. GP, hey, just so happens, which happens quite often, just so happens lining up with the previous high. Let's draw a zone over here. And we do not, actually this is a key resistance. We'll keep it there. Multiple rejections. No back test. So GP would be the most ideal, but we're gonna have to, there's a lot of downward pressure that's gonna need to come in order for that GP to happen. There is a lack of support, however. So if you look at this chart on the way up, the last support was over here, straight up. Maybe a support over here at 145.30, but aside from that, you're right away looking down at that previous all-time high. 0.382 doesn't really line up with much. There is a slight rejection over here, a slight support over here, 139.65. So multiple levels to watch. First one would be 145, followed by 140, and then downwards to 122. So having an alert set at 145, see what the reaction looks like. Next one is LCID, Lucid. Strong chart. I don't know how many times I can say it, but strong chart. Daily bull flag is still there. We did close slightly under that daily 8. After hours up very, very slightly by 7 cents. We are playing this via commons right now, but you know, we are playing based on the potential of a weekly bull flag, which might take quite a long time, a few weeks for this play out. Ultimately, you know, this week is likely going to be increased volume, just depending on whether if we close green or red. If we're closing red, it's going to be increasing bear volume, so that's going to be a little bit concerning. But daily, there is no red flags. We are still cooling down the chart. Where's this GP from? We blasted the reverse GP, because we don't need that anymore. So let's redraw this. Low to the high. 0.382 lining up with that support. What do you know? A huge gap that was filled back here. 44.14. 0.382. Does that line up with the weekly? Hey, that lines up with the weekly 8. Next week we might be, it's still gonna be around there, but 44.14. That's gonna be the key to hold on Lucid. Next one is RIVN. Oh, IPO. Wow, so many gaps. This is a hard chart to trade. Look at this. IPO day, buy up, sell off as always, and then close red, gap up, immediate buy, gap up again, another gap up, spinning top candlestick, somewhat spinning top candlestick, but ultimately is a green candle and the next day gap down. A hard chart to trade. Very key support right here. The IPO price, obviously 106.75. So it's seeing double support there already. Potential for key price action over here, 123. Support bounced up. Rejection, another rejection today. Earnings, is that today earnings? Well, if it is, it's not out yet. So this will have me worry a little bit. You know, TradingView is showing earnings today, but nothing's out. If you know what the date of the earnings for our RIVN is, please do let me know. Decreasing bear volume. We could see a range bound over here. So the two key zones to break, the two key prices to break, I would say right now is 106.75 and 123. On the break of either way, you could be looking for a play. Next one is Snap. Decreasing bull volume followed by increasing bear volume, very notable. Broke down below a huge gap down and then broke down below the money line with immediate double back test before a further downward price action. Chart is weak. We did lose that key zone both yesterday and today. So there's potential we can go down to that previous resistance. Let's redraw this. Somewhere over here. Resistance support. Broke over support, yeah. 43.60. There's potential we're going to go down to 43.60. On this chart particularly, I have my alert set at, where is this? How come it's not pulling up? There we go. 51.40. Until a bull break over that daily 8, then we'll maybe start watching it. But ultimately, as the way the chart stands right now, until the break above 51.80, where there's supports over here, resistance over here, will not be interested in trading this chart yet. Bears remain strong on it. Next one is BITF. Bitfarm, I think it was. BITF, not BTIF. BITF, very strong chart. Inside bar today. Wow. Inside bar today. Loving it. Loving it. Inside bar today on a huge bear market. Slight pop in bear volume, a little bit concerning. We are chopping around that 88. So this is a weekly bull flag. Ultimately, the weekly right now is also a weekly inside bar. As long as that $7 hold. Where am I looking at for the $7 here? Okay, so resistance with a slight pop over it. I want to see a hold of 7 would be the most ideal. If that breaks, we'll be looking to exit the short-term trade. Ultimately, right now I have 2 alerts set on this. Strangling alert with 838 being the top and 695 being the bottom. All right, so that's requested tickers. Next ones up are hot tickers. And then we're going to speed through the rest. Oh, hot tickers. First one, YINN. Long-term trade. This is looking amazing for reversal here. We are a little bit extended on the daily. Increasing volume on that, weekly. We are a little bit extended on the weekly, increasing volume on the weekly. We're going to need to see how the weekly close on this one, but I am anticipating somewhat of a bounce. Ultimately, this last low was 909, and yesterday's low was 908, double bottom potential. And we are playing this through a very long perspective of monthly charts. With the monthly, there is a huge wedge forming here. It's 3 touches on the top, 3 touches on the bottom already. We're near that lower trend line. Low risk entry. Stop would probably be below 827. You could also wait for the break of this trend line. Let me set an alert on this. Don't know why I don't have one on here. So there's going to be a strangling alert. Again, upper side is going to be this trend line. Lower end is going to be the bottom trend line. And on the break of this upper trend line, I would anticipate at the very, very minimum another touch of this upper trend line of the wedge, but would anticipate the break on this one as we're approaching apex, as well as already had the 3 touches on the upper trend line. So that's YINN. Next one is LABU. So this one is brought to us by BBQQ. Okay, did not see this today. This is a bearish engulfing candle today, breaking down under the lower trend line. Resistance, support, slightly concerning. Gonna be keeping this on top watch tomorrow. After hours trading down a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put a alert somewhere. Oh, no, that's too low. Ideally, I don't want to see a loss of today's low, but it is a bearish engulfing candlestick closing near that low of the day, rejecting from the daily 8. How's the weekly looking? Not too far, but it is a little bit extended on the weekly. Huge bear volumes coming in. This is essentially, you could use this as a potential hedge for your bull positions, just because from what I was told, this tends to see a pop on COVID cases. So, just keep it on watch. But so far the chart does not look too interesting. 50.01. Okay, so there is no head and shoulders. All right, next one is DOCs. So DOCs, we have an alert set. We discussed this on Monday's video. We have an alert set on this upper trend line. Look where we rejected from today. Just look at this. How perfect is that gonna get, right? Upper trend line, multiple rejections from back here, another 1, 2 rejections from here, and today we are seeing GP lining up with that trend line. What a perfect bear play. If you ever were looking for a bear play on DOCs, today would have been the day to play bears on it. And low bear volume. Let's watch for what the higher low looks like. Somewhat anticipating a strong higher low before a break of this upper trend line. So we could be looking at, filling this gap here, this gap from back here, lining up with the 0.5. So let's change this to the 0.5, somewhere around there. The high of the day is 61.13. That would be an ideal first entry on DOCs. So that's it for today's tickers I wanted to do a deep dive in, but what I also wanted to do, in case we don't get the chance to do a morning live tomorrow, the other thing I wanted to do is I ran through basically my whole watch list just to watch for what's oversold, what could be, if the market were to gap down tomorrow, what could provide the most amazing bounce play opportunity. First one is going to be open. Daily is oversold. Daily is extended. Weekly is obviously very extended. Daily is getting to that oversold territory. RSI is at 28. We are at that lower part of the key zone as well. So open is one of them. By the way, if you wanted to see pre-market prices, you could enable that in your watch list on TradingView. So I have changed that just for tomorrow. Remove the current price of the tickers and then added, what do they call it? Extended hours on the tickers. Make it a little bit easier on scrolling through tomorrow pre-market. The other one is going to be, what am I looking at? Z lows. Ultimately is a daily bear flag. We are still rejecting from that 88. If you're looking at the weekly, we're extended. We are in that key area, that key zone that needs to hold. You could draw this differently and just say, you know what, this whole thing is a key zone, but we are in that, regardless, we are in that zone that needs to hold. The low is going to be at 51.12. After ours, no movement. Zero is one of them. The other one is Netflix. Okay, weekly is now oversold. Disregard that. No, I'm not seeing a double fake out pattern here, so we will disregard that too. And next one is ROKU. Should be oversold. Extended on the weekly. Wow, even the weekly is reaching oversold territory. Daily still rejecting increasing bear volume. On the gap down tomorrow, there will not be a daily. Actually, unless it's immediately bought up, then there will be a daily bull divergence. 4 hours potential bull divergence. So looking good on ROKU. Next one is SPLK. Actually, I'm just going to go through it a little bit quicker here. SPLK, key zone, extended on the daily. Weekly RSI, extended on the weekly. Weekly RSI is at 31.99. Space. Slightly extended on the weekly as well, increasing bear volume. RSI is at 36. And this one is no longer valid. Rejected from that 0.382. Next one is Bragg. We have not talked about Bragg for quite some time. Extend on the weekly. Potential weekly bull divergence here. In the key zone. RSI is at 32.34. FOBU. Extended. I'm gonna stop saying it. Every single one of this is gonna be extended on the weekly. Right at the top of the key zone. RSI 37.45. Hood. RSI, weekly RSI 40.51. Lots of trend line here. New low now. On the potential bounce here. Actually, we talked about this already. Share unlock. Tomorrow is gonna need to see bull volume. Next one is DKNG. Long-term downward action right at the bottom of the key zone. RSI on weekly is 28.25. Must hold this area. Strong supports. If we're to lose this, there is a lack of support all the way down to 18. Why is this here? Okay, next one is OZON. Not too far extended on this one. Potential for a daily bull divergence. Actually, you already got that daily bull divergence, saw the bounce here and made new lows. So there's potential for another daily bull divergence here on OZON. Not sure why this is circled. Been a long time since we looked at this chart. Okay, next one, LSPD. Ooh, that is looking hot. Extended on the weekly. Oops, said it again. 31.98 weekly RSI. No supports in sight though. Daily grind down. Just getting grind down by that 88. Haven't even touched it actually since the gap down. Very, very weak chart. Yeah. Next one, Zoom. Extended on the daily. Need to hold this area. Why is there a support here? Yeah, this is invalid. There's not really a support here. Let's keep it for tomorrow. Let's see if anything happens. If we're gonna see a reaction on it or not. But I don't really see a support here. We could see lower prices come on Zoom. Not too far extended. RSI on the weekly is one of the lowest at 24.84. PTON. I like this one. It's extended on the weekly at the key zone. Saw previous resistance and support here. Gonna need to hold this area. RSI, ooh, RSI is one of the lowest. PTON, top watch tomorrow. Crap, now I don't remember what the other one was. Was it open? I think it was open. Yeah, open is the other one that's on top watch tomorrow. LSPD, Zoom, PTON, TDOC. No supports in sight. All the way up until this lower support over here. We are a little bit extended on the weekly. No divergences. RSI is at 2683. Don't really like the chart as much. So tomorrow, for now, the top two we'll be looking at is PTON and open. Just as a quick recap, let me send myself a message here. PTON and open. For shorter time frames, those are going to be the two. All right, so that's it for today's videos. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hey, make sure you check out our free membership. I always say, you know, doesn't matter how many groups you're in. What matters is how much money they are saving you. It doesn't even matter how much money they're making you in the bull market. Hey, anyone can do that. What matters is how much money they're saving you in a bear market. Are they saving you money? Are they even better making you money? Hey, check us out. Our overall trading success rate, 86%. Link to our Discord is down below. That gives you limited access to our Slack. And if you want full access, there is also a free membership available on our website at totalcontroltraders.com. Again, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.